I'm on Canva, and this is a thumbnail that I created. You know, you have those YouTubers that do the worst rated hotels. It's how to create these type of thumbnails. And I'm just going to go through some key elements which I did within this thumbnail here. As you can see, I've used very bold contrasting colors. So I've used like the red here in this wording. I've used the bright yellow in the hotel, which is part of the background image. And then again, images here, the spider and this moldy bread. I've also enhanced the colors. So I've made the colors really bright, really bold, basically pulled up the saturation. That's also something to think about when you're creating your own thumbnail. It's really important as well when you're doing your thumbnails to try and pick maybe like 3 or 4 colors to use and try and keep that consistent. Used here with the moldy bread and the big massive spider is so kind of unrealistic. But in a way, you could say this is potentially like a clickbaity thumbnail. But these thumbnails do very, very well, especially if you're making this kind of content. I'm going to show you another thumbnail that I also did. And I'm just going to go home. After doing my research of like Mr. Beast's thumbnails, I kind of realized that a lot of his thumbnails he used very dramatic images. So like it would have him being eaten by some sort of animal or whatever. Also, the use of arrows is really good because arrows will direct a viewer's eye to whatever you want them to direct it to. Arrows are a really good thing to use because it directs attention to an image within your thumbnail. And it's always good, I think, to use an expressive face yourself or even somebody else. Contrasting colours, I've got the orange and pinky colours here along with the orange arrow. So these two tie in, and then I have the sort of blue sky, the sort of aqua bluey sea. So I kind of use like that sort of orange, blue, purple colour palette. But you don't always have to use yourself in your thumbnail. So I made this one also. It's like world's scariest theme park for those content creators who make like, you know, that sort of content. It's always important to use a background image that's not too busy, but also is dramatic, because you don't want this background image to be too busy with another image on top of it. So you kind of have to make them simple, but at the same time, bold and stand out, if that makes sense. The colours, I've used the red against her orange top, and then you've got the red also in this ride here at the back. Try to like kind of link all the colours and just try and make it a bit more cohesive in your thumbnail because it's visually more eye-catching to the eye. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you how to create one of these completely from scratch, how to do things like get rid of the background, scale up things, change the contrast, change the saturation. Home, and we're going to go to create design. And we're going to go to YouTube thumbnail. As you can see, it's already here, my suggested, because I use it quite a lot. Well, I use it all the time for my YouTube thumbnail. So I'm going to go over to YouTube thumbnail. So let's start one. So say if you wanted to do a thumbnail about, I stayed on an island for however many days, whatever. So I'm just going to, let me put in deserted island. Deserted island. There we go, and just see what comes up. Oh, sorry, you want to make sure you're on elements first. You also go over to photos because you want photos. Okay. Do you know what? Let's go with this one. Okay, so we've got our picture of our island, so that's set for the main background. Now you can already see the colours, so we've got the blues and we've got the greens. So we're kind of going to use that and try and tie that in with the other things we want to put in the video. Now what I want to do is probably put in my text. So I'm going to go over to text, add heading, and say, I don't know, stranded on a desert island. Should make that capitals actually, shouldn't I? Right, so now we're going to move this up to here. And then I'm going to just make that bigger. I'm also going to change the font. My favourite font to use if I'm doing any sort of bold headings is, what is it? League Spartan. This is my favourite one to use. I just prefer it. I also go over here and I use the spacing effect. So I just go over the letter spacing. I just want to space out the letters a little bit more like that. Now, I definitely want to change the colour of the font. So as you can see here, it's already got photo colours. So it's already given you photo colours here to use, which is really great. So you can take any of the colours and use it like that. I would want to outline it. So I just go over to effects and outline. And I always outline it normally in black. You can also change how thick your outline is. So I'm just going to thicken it up quite a lot. I'm actually not going to keep this colour. Don't think it stands out enough. So for now, I'm just going to use white, and then we might change it up a little bit. So, and then I'm going to add another heading, and I'm going to put 30. A different style of text. Just going to place here, and I'm going to spin it around a little bit. You might want to move it around once you get your images in, but I might use a red just so it stands out. I'm going to go over to effects. Let me just show you what the lift effect looks like. So the lift effect is actually really good too. So I'm going to go back over to elements, and I'm just going to type in fit rect person. This will actually be quite cool to use as a background. But I'm actually going to change the background to this. What? Let's see if we can get like an animal in here. Make it exciting. What? Polar bear. So say we want to use this image within our thumbnail. So obviously if I put that there, it's got a background. So we don't want the image to have a background because that looks weird. So all we do is we go over to edit image, and we go over to background remover. Now this background remover tool is only available in the pro version of Canva. But I would highly recommend you get it if you are looking to start creating your thumbnails on Canva, because it is genuinely so worth it. It's so good, look, and it's literally taken out the background completely. So I'm just going to go and make this polar bear bigger. Actually also move this forward. So as you can see here, it's behind this text. I can actually bring this forward. So I just go over to position and I go forward. And then it brings the polar bear forward. Once you've got your core elements in your thumbnail, all you have to do is just play around with it, move it around, change text, change images, literally do whatever until you're completely happy with it. It needs to make it look as scary as possible, right? So I'm going to get this image. I'm just going to go edit image background remover to remove the background. So you can use this little thing here, and it basically just turns the image, so you can turn it whichever way. There's always room to add in things, to take things out, to change things. This is why I say it's so important to spend a good amount of time creating your thumbnail, because there's always things that actually look better, don't look as good, different colours, etc. If you wanted to change this background, you don't have to delete everything on here. You literally click on the background box and you find your new background. If I wanted to change it to this, I could go on more, and then at the bottom I go down and it says replace background. Click on replace background and it's replaced the background for me. Just going to show you now how to create a shadow in an image. So say if you wanted just to make, I don't know, an image lift off the page more or whatever. So you click on the image, you go edit image, and you can go down here to blur. So this, if I go here, it will just blur out slightly the outline of the polar bear. So I'm just going to blur. So as you can see, look at the difference. So it's just blurred it. And then if I go back, it would then put that on the picture. So as you can see, it's just completely blurred the outline image. I'm just going to go back, and I'm just going to show you another one, edit image, and let's go to shadows. So now here you have a number of things you can do. So you can outline like that. I have seen a lot of YouTubers use this outline feature. You can use the drop feature where it looks like the image has just been dropped on the page, if that makes sense. You can do glow where it just glows. You can do curved. You can do a page lift where it almost looks like it's on a page. A backdrop where it creates some sort of shadow. Also here, down here, you can change like the blur amount, angle, distance, intensity of the blur. So there's a lot of things you can really play around with. So say if you wanted to now change the saturation, I'm going to go to edit image, and up here, after it says FX effects, you want to go to adjust. Click adjust, and then you just want to go down all the way to the bottom. And here you've got color. See, and let me know if you notice a difference in the vibrance. And then we're going to go up in the saturation too. And you just play around with it. Obviously, you don't want it to look too fake and stupid. So just play around with it until you get to a level you think, okay, that looks pretty good and the colors look good. Play around with your sharpness, clarity, and vinaigrette. So say if you wanted to sharpen up, you can. I wouldn't necessarily use the sharpen feature, but the clarity is quite good. Say if you just wanted to make it more dramatic, you can literally put the clarity up, and it just kind of gives it that more like dramatic, rustic sort of feel. Or you can completely soften it down on the other end, and as you can see, it completely softens down the image. And also you can basically go through every element and image on your thumbnail and actually just do exactly the same thing. So try and make 2 to 3 thumbnails. I know that may seem like a lot, but it's always good to test a thumbnail at first just to see if it works. As you can see in this video that I've just demonstrated, it really doesn't take very long once you get the hang of where things are and how to change things to create these. It's very easy because a lot of the graphics are already here for you on Canva to use. If you wanted to use yourself in the image, you could just go to uploads and then upload files, and then upload a file that you've taken of yourself, whatever, and then you can pop that within the image too, and then just like remove the background like you saw me do for the polar bear. Exactly the same thing. So any uploads you want to personally put in the thumbnail that isn't on Canva, you can then just upload anything you can, and it will just save all your uploads into this section right here. So guys, I think that's it. I think that's kind of everything I wanted to go through. I would say the key elements to a successful thumbnail, from what I've researched, from what I've looked at other YouTubers do, is definitely the color. It's choosing those key colors and implementing them into your thumbnail. It's also not overdoing it. So if you are making these style of thumbnails, just not making sure that you have a few of those dramatic images or even one dramatic image, and then just really use the colors surrounding it just to create the rest of the thumbnail. Another thing I would suggest is to just not use too much wording in your thumbnails either. And to just create a main title and then maybe just like a little sub heading or subtitle, something that dramatizes the video, maybe like underneath it, like in this one for example. But if I had loads of other text here and in every single space on the page, it would just look too much, and it's not going to be something that catches your eye. There's just too much to read and too much going on. So to add, I would definitely say composition is extremely important. Composition, color, contrast, and the use of images. So dramatic images, yourself in the image, or just kind of try and create focus points on your design. And you can also use that by using arrows as well to create faceless videos. Again, I've kind of used the middle as a focal point, but I've also got the 2 images here, so I've used kind of pretty good composition in this one. I've used arrow here to kind of highlight this, that you can create faceless videos in 2 minutes. and I haven't used too much text. I've just used a title here and then this here just to add a little bit more information. If there's anything you want me to go through over on Canva, let me know. So that is all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video and I hope it taught you something. Let me know in the comments below if you did and it helped you. I'd really love it if you would subscribe. I'd really love it if you would like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in my next video.